Well, thank you for staying with us. It's a Friday. It's a wet Friday at that. And I know maybe you've still not roused yourself up yet. But get up, stand up. You know what time it is. We're getting it on the AM show. All the fire is right here. So tell a friend to tell a friend that it's going down. My name is Benjamin Akakwe, and I'm here with my partner in everything good, Samuel Kojo-Brace. Good morning.
Morning, man.
How be?
I'm good. Yourself?
Charlie Nipa bro.
I mean, when it gets to Friday,
You know, yesterday, Sam George was on the show and he said that, on campus back in the day, people would be praying. Then part of the prayer would go, Mantaya. Charlie, this morning, Mantaya. My breast said, my bean stew, no. My bread.
But
Charlie.
I think you're the second person who say my bread is morning.
Charlie. I will not hide it. I am tired.
Charlie, I'm tired. Yeah. It's not easy. I mean, from Monday through to Friday, the body is not a machine.
Yeah.
Even machines sometimes, they break down. So, yeah.
And nowadays, part of what adds to the tiredness, the balancing is not balancing. You understand? Yeah, in terms of the pocket.
No, it's not.
So if you don't do some nokofio, some pakpakpa.
Even the pakpakpa cry.
Charlie, the pakpakpa self no dey. The pakpakpa is not pakpakpa.
It's hard though. The pakpakpa.
I was speaking to someone this morning, and I was telling the person, said Charlie, Kuba issue, and the person was like, Charlie, now all the gigs,
it finished. Oh no, they suspend them. The pakpakpa is not pakpaing. You the fat. Charlie. Things make hard.
It's in these moments that really, that saying,
Yeah.
It is in these moments really that you feel it more. That indeed, sometimes you can look at yourself, look at the balance sheet, look at everything you do in the month, and then at the end of the month you ask yourself, how did I make it through?
Yeah. Because when I was counting job,
and you still find a way of helping other people less privileged, doing this and that. And you ask yourself, how was I able to do it?
This morning when I was coming to work, I was like, well, God, if I look at my gauge, I'm not sure it will take me to tomorrow. But I know that by close of day, I'll still go through to tomorrow and I'll go back home. So God is a miraculous God. He does things that supersedes our understanding. So sometimes that's our assurance that we have a Father who really comes through for us when we least expect. So, Charlie, because if I look at the gauge where it is, and have to come to work today, go back home, and come to work tomorrow and go back, it can't.
No. There are these times when, just to share in the faith, I know my reserve tank is pretty big. I've been told, because even when it gets full, it takes a long time before. You must not fill it to the brim, but you must. And there are times when I have been riding somewhere, maybe coming from Tema, and it is already blinking, and you are just praying, Charlie, don't go and somehow you get through. The following day, it will. God is amazing. You may talk about science and everything in there, and combustion and the reality, but with faith in God. There was a time when, back in the day when my family was in Nigeria, my father had to move from quite a distance. The petrol was blinking.
Okay.
I'm talking of the 80s. And he somehow prayed about it, and we got to our destination. And they told me that story and said they considered it a miracle because there's no way. At that time, the technology...
No way. It defies science and logic. Sometimes. So, we do.
But what they only say, I know I got to feel the way. Yes, I'll So today we pray that the manna, give us this day our daily bread.
So
we pray in the day. We are hopeful that today God will make a way.
So
who knows? Someone is watching you right now, and he's going to go like, "Kojo, Charlie, my drop you 2K,
anyway,
if you are someone like that, harden not your heart. Drop some local fuel for Samuel Kojo.
Let's go. Let's move on.
Anyway, this segment is brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering free prostate screening, free female fertility screening as well. Locate them here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. They're also in Kumasi, Kronumabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. Then there's Takrade Anaje Estate. Kojo is very familiar with that place. Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanswa, and Esiama and Zima. You can call them on 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Let's get into the news review. But before that, a number of matters to discuss this week.
Yeah.
The president going after ratings agencies, the finance minister coming out to say what he did. And some of those other topical matters, I'll be looking at TOR and what is happening there, among other matters. Now, the independent power producers, I'll be tackling that in my blunt thoughts. Are giving us an ultimatum. You know, initially they said till the end of this month. Now they are saying, yes, it's going to happen, and by July the 1st,
it will go.
You better crack.
Yeah.
Any reflections on any of these matters?
Let me start with my topmost.
Your topmost, which is, the rains are also in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, the rains. And the deaths.
Why we sit and allow the rains to wreak havoc on us every year beats my understanding. If we didn't know the solutions, I would have said, okay, we don't know. But yesterday, our colleague, I call him Winston, good. So I was going to say Omambapa, because that's everything.
That's what you're used to.
Winston Amwa read cabinet memos that really spells out what government needs to do and what is needed to do those things. Can you imagine that cabinet knows that one of the problems confronting us is the lack of engineered drainage? Yet, in this day and age, we award contract to contractors to construct open, shallow drains. Is that how we want to fight the flat width? Or is that what we want to fight the flat width? I mean, sometimes you don't get it. The Speaker of Parliament was talking about drainage, that we have to have modern drainage systems that are covered. So if you see government contract and contractors are constructing shallow, open drains, you have to ask yourself, this nation cry, where are we going? How do we set our priorities?
It's just something to represent something.
Oh, no. Year in, year out, we have these problems. And we always say, we'll work at it so that it doesn't happen again. The other time, last year, the president said, MMDCs, go out and break structures in waterways. What have we seen? Just the first 2 weeks, some MMDCs tried something. Shege moves, that's all. Nothing has happened again. We are here again, and we have started counting our losses. This is the beginning, We are now to enter the main one.
Which is around September. And that one, while it is not a longer one, it is more vicious. It is more severe. The meteorological agency has told us. You see, in this country, we're literally. Do you know what a sitting duck is? You're just waiting for disaster to happen. That's where we are. And our leaders love the talk. They love the talk. They love the big talk. And I sat in the excavator and we went there to the site, and the silting is happening in Kwesiaga.
No, even the desilting.
It's useless.
Even the desilting, the time we do the desilting is when the rains are about to set in. So
you wait till the problem is at your, and it's not a one-off problem.
No.
It's a perennial problem.
And you know that it will come. So what is our strategy really? Because when you know that the problem with me is this graphic, and I want to deal with it, and I can't deal with it in the whole, what do? I have to break it down into sections and tackle it. But we sit here, no plan, nothing. We'll allow the problems to occur. The president, the ministers will go around to commiserate to the people. We are sorry. We'll ensure that it doesn't happen again. The next year it happens. We'll go there again. Same statement. Different actors sometimes. So really, what are we? The people who have to solve our problems, what are they doing?
Let me tell you. Leadership in this country is like a theater with actors. They act. That's it. It's not the real show.
Yeah. So and then again,
I'll tell you this though, right before you continue. Ghana, if any leader comes with a proper plan in terms of tackling anyone who wants to be leader of this country moving forward. A proper plan, I mean proper one, with all the exigencies factored in. It cannot be absolutely all of them, but as many as possible, with a clear plan, with funding options and how it's going to be rolled out to tackle flooding once and for all. I think we should vote for that person.
Oh, sure. But you see, the problem is...
I know.
Part of it...
Implementation.
No. Part of it is us.
It's true.
You think Ghanaians would accept to say, oh, as for me, when I come, I'm going to tackle head on the flooding issues.
It's true, though. They'll still look at NDC. They'll still do NDC.
And then would expect you to say, Meba, I'll do this road. I'll do the railway. They want to hear you talk about everything. So sometimes we have to blame ourselves as well. And for this flooding, we cannot even blame government alone. For us as individuals, those of us who are building in waterways, we should blame ourselves too. That you see that this land is a waterway, but it's still, you say, oh, that's what I want to buy. And when you buy, the people at the building inspectors, they will look on unconcerned for you to build a house in the waterway, blocking the waterway. And you see water there. As for water, there's no way you can block water, because when you prevent it from passing through this way, it will find a way. So as we say, water will always find its course. It will always do. So once you block this part A, it will choose part B, and the problem would either affect your friend or will affect you. So really, and then the way we dispose of rubbish. Look at the way we throw plastics around. Well, it's in the gutter. Some people will sweep from their houses, will gather the garbage, and then throw it into a gutter nearby. I mean, what really are we doing to ourselves? Without thinking that, Charlie, the rubbish that I'm putting into this gutter, it won't go off easily. It will choke the drains, and when it rains, because water cannot pass through, water would always float on the surface.
If you give people the opportunity, they will always take the chance.
Okay.
In other jurisdictions, where was it recently? Somewhere in the UK. I've forgotten the full story, but look at even what has happened to Boris Johnson. If you followed the proceedings on some of his actions while he was PM, you will not get away.
Yeah.
I like that anecdote where a police officer, encountered, so there was a traffic offense. He stopped the car, somewhere in the UK. He stopped the car, and then one came out and said, oh, I am Lord Cedric, and this is this, and that is Lord that, and said that. The police officer looked at them and said, I don't care whether it's the entire round table of King Arthur. You are getting a summons.
Yeah.
We have to, look, we are all in it. We are all, we get to that point where, this and that. Yeah. But it's not helping anybody.
Yes.
Let's get to that point where you know that if you fall foul of X, Y, Z, there will be punitive measures, regardless of whether you are the president
that is why.
Or the last person.
That's why I was saying that.
Down
those
there.
Building inspectors at our assemblies, what do they really do?
Let's ask them.
Because really, their function is to ensure that people are building in the right ways, isn't it? According to the spatial planning of the area. So if people are building in waterways, where in the spatial planning we say that we need to leave it there because people need to, or they have to be there to ensure that they serve as natural collectors of rains. Why do we allow people to build there? And sometimes you wonder if building inspectors really get off their offices to check what's happening in the communities. And what kind of process do we pass people through when they are coming for building permits? So you see, it's a myriad of people neglecting their responsibilities and getting us to where we are.
Ghana, dear Charlie, on God,
Charlie,
on God.
Yesterday, there's a community in Ahanta West, my own backyard. It's called the Osiejo. Now, the water has flooded the whole place such that they have to be moved to classrooms. And this is a place that, the last time I had a flooding incident there was like some 5 years ago, and it wasn't even major like this. So why? Now people have lost their belongings. They now have to start all over again. And then,
Let's get into the papers.
It's serious.
I asked him. It's very worrying, very disturbing. And if you're a leader and you're overseeing all of this, especially if you like running your mouth and you see where we are and everything that is happening, you should really bow your head in shame. Because, Kojo, that's why I call them misleaders all the time. We elect leaders to solve problems, to lead, to show the way. If you fail to do that, should I still call you a leader?
But like
you failed.
I agree with you.
You failed.
Just as we are.
And especially if you run your mouth and you say you can do things that are beyond the magical. That is another thing I feel we should be looking at going into election 2024. I see a lot of candidates now from different sides. I'll do this, I'll do that. Watch you. Yes, I the woman says so.
But Ben, what's at it? I think that we don't need to leave these building inspectors to go. They have a huge role to play. Our local assemblies, they have a huge role. Why they allow things to happen the way they do, I just don't get it. But I pray that they also take it upon themselves to say that, well, we'll play our part to ensure Ghana gets to where it has to be. Because see, the president cannot see everywhere. So those people should also try.
The presidents and the districts and the municipalities are also failing. The
MMDCs,
DCs and the MCs. Anyway, I have the Daily Guide and the Finder newspaper. What do you have? Let's start
Daily
with
Graphic
you.
and the Ghanaian Publisher. Now, Daily Graphic says, taxes on sanitary pads unfair. Speaker of Parliament asserts. Afri Exim Bank confers award on First Bank of Nigeria Limited. Police give chase to killers. Bust reminder to defaulting OMCs to pay bust margin. Supreme Court grant Quaison 7 extra days to file review. And new job in South Development on course. So those are the stories on the front page, I'm sure. Okay, so this is quite an interesting issue. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbeng, has expressed strong abhorrence at the imposition of taxes on sanitary pads in the country. He described the passage of laws by Parliament to impose a tax on sanitary pads as unconscionable and a cardinal sin. The House should not have allowed it at all. You know the impact of that law on human resource development and the development of this country is immeasurable, he observed. Some of the taxes on sanitary pads are the 12.5% value added tax and 20% import duty. Wasn't he in Parliament when they were passing these bills? He was, so really, I wonder why he's now telling us that it's unconscionable.
Well, those are the questions, but I'm just looking for this. I think it's the AGI, the Association of Ghana Industries. They've also come out with a bit of a statement on, yes, I think I see it now.
Okay.
They say, so it's a press statement, and it says, pardon my having to read from here, the Association of Ghana Industries, so AGI cautions government on removal of taxes on imported sanitary pads. The AGI wishes to caution government that any policy measure that seeks to remove taxes on imported sanitary pads at the expense of local manufacturers of same will be detrimental to our economy. As much as the waiver of duties or taxes on imported sanitary products for our young women to make the pads more affordable may sound good, this will only end up completely wiping out the few local sanitary pad factories left in the country. Therefore, the association is of the view that the call for the removal of duties on imported sanitary pads is misplaced. I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree.
Why?
There is some sense in what they are saying, yes, because you must protect your local industry.
Yeah.
But you also mustn't say that because of the fledgling, the very small local industry, they talk about meeting the requirements. They can't. Let's be realistic. Sanitary pads across the country. Who are the venture capitalists? Is government now going to go into the business of doing business? Is government now going to, what else? I mean, 1D, whatever. Is this going to be? So while I agree that local businesses must be protected to some extent, you can't tell me that just because of that, and that small component, we should let the entirety of the population of women who go through this every month to suffer. I don't think so. No. There must be a balance where in some way we're protecting the local industry, but in another way we are also easing up on the taxes to ensure that our women don't have to pay through the nose to get the sanitary pads. You can't just tell me, so leave it like that. No. So that doesn't work for me either.
I think what can be done to save our local businesses and still ensure that we are having sanitary pads is to remove, say, the taxes and allow the import duty to be there, so that
so you mean the VAT should go?
Yes, maintain the import duty, because if you do that, that's how the local business can also be competitive. Because you are having a margin.
But some of these local businesses, let me tell you, in terms of competing and all of that, they always want to be favored. They are not, and some of them, well, partly also on the back of purchasing items or fabric, material from other jurisdictions, it becomes, but they are not cost effective, a lot of them, in their operations. And they want to, they want to make a killing I'm not saying this generally, I'm saying that some. So let no one think that I'm saying that all of these producers of sanitary items and all of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm merely saying that some too, the different factors in the market that they ought to pay attention to, they don't. It's like sitting there and thinking, oh, my only competition is the fact that taxes have been slapped here, and that's the only way I can compete. Find innovative ways. In marketing, they'll tell you about SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Many of our businesses don't apply this. They just go about business as normal. You will fail someday. So while I'm saying that defend local businesses, I am always talking about Kantanka and other things. Defend local businesses, but at what cost? So let's mitigate it. Let's find some middle ground so that the cost, it's stifling.
So for me, I think the best way I see it is that remove the taxes, so that both local and those who import still have a tax-free, but the import duty can then put the local businesses in competition. It's something we need to discuss.
We could scrap both taxes.
Okay.
Both of them, but then incentivize local businesses. For example, those who are bringing in certain items, the items they use to produce their products, we'll find a way of subsidizing it for, it can be specific to them. We can do that.
But you know that.
We can do that. You say you want to produce, right? You say you can produce en masse, right? So we are going to subsidize for you. Produce and less.
But even the loan he's taking is, first of all, putting you out of competition.
Well, it's also on the back of the economy.
A lot of things don't favor.
There are so many factors.
So sometimes when I go around with my rice and people say it's expensive, I'm like, Charlie, local rice production is not easy because of the several factors that we do engage in. So you cannot expect it to be on the same level with some foreign rice. But yeah, let's see how it goes. So that has to do with the taxes.
We have a bit of limited time, so let's make tracks on that.
All right then. Okay. So
but let's wrap up. Okay, because there are a lot of stories.
Let's look at the James Gyakye Quayson issue, because next week is a Wednesday. There will be that by-election in the Assembly.
Is it not Tuesday?
It's Tuesday, rather, 27th. Today is 23rd. Okay, it could be Tuesday. Now, the Supreme Court has given James Gyakye Quayson 7 extra days to file a review against the court's decision to declare as unconstitutional his election as Member of Parliament for Assin North. The court, presided over by a single Justice Ernest Yao Gao, granted the additional days following a motion of extension of time filed by Mr. Quayson. At today's hearing, even before counsel for Mr. Quayson, Chachu Chikata, moved the motion, Justice Gao indicated that he intended to grant the motion for extension of time. Having already read the motion, its affidavit in support and the affidavit in opposition. As a result, Mr. Chikata just moved the motion without reiterating the submissions in the affidavit in support. The presiding judge therefore asked the counsel for the respondent, Frank Davis, if he had any new submission other than the one canvassed in the affidavit in opposition that could convince him not to grant the motion. So this is how but once the by-election is coming on, I mean, when it's done, will this review still be necessary? Because this review is to tell the Supreme Court that you need to review your decision of saying that my election was unconstitutional. So if after Tuesday, well, it depends. If he doesn't win, then probably the review will still go on, right? You are a lawyer.
Let's leave the court to do its work. What the dynamics are, we'll find out when they decide. It's a rather convoluted matter. It's a rather interesting test case in the legal system. You'll be told that Adamu Sakande is very different from this specific instance, because all through, even up to the point where Adamu Sakande was declared a Member of Parliament, he held, the citizenship of other countries,
but the substance,
and they will tell you about the differences in there. We'll just see. But like I'm saying, it's a test case for the law, and moving forward, it will set certain precedents as well, because Adamu Sakande was a precedent in itself. Now, this will set maybe some new precedents in terms of what the thinking of the court is and what the actions should be by such applicants moving forward. So we'll see what happens there. And it will also be very interesting to see who wins in Asin North. And if Jachi Kwesen does win, what follows after that? For a student of the law, this is a gold mine.
Okay.
Because we keep digging and digging. You get so many new insights into how things likely would move forward, because this is judicial precedent.
If he wins, I'm sure the lawyers will go to court to say we're wrong. Anyway, that's my layman.
Ayo.
Thank you. Yeah.
So let's get into some other stories very quickly. The Daily Guide this morning. Bisu lays down arms in OSP Galamsey case. Did you mean Bisu lays? Because I see Bisu lay. Daily Guide. And I'm in a Anyway, more STEM centers nearing completion. That's according to Dr. Yawase Educhum, Education Minister. To force and summons Alex Segbefia and others to testify. That has to do with the ambulance issue. And taxes on sanitary pads, wicked. That is on page 6. Cop shot dead in daylight bullion van robbery. You know where I'm going. But let's start with some positivity. So, Minister for Education, Dr. Yawase Educhum, has expressed his firm belief that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education will position Ghana at the forefront of countries that leverage new technologies to address societal changes, improve living standards, and create opportunities for economic growth and prosperity. Quoting him, he says, "The world went through the first industrial revolution, and then we went through the second industrial revolution, and then to the third industrial revolution, which is the era of computer science. And now we are the fourth industrial revolution, where there is a merger of biological and the electrical, where things are changing. Some would say we are even in the fifth. But when I hear of these things, good step, yes, STEM, yes, but the industrial revolutions, of all these ones that have happened, we did. Which one have we really capitalized on? Zilch, zero, not.
Maybe you talk about the one day, whatever, as our way of trying to industrialize.
And how has that fared?
Well, you say that at least something is happening. It is not the case that nothing is happening at all. Some things are happening. For example...
But that's exactly my problem.
Okay.
We tend to be mediocre in our expectations.
Okay.
And we also have leaders who give crumbs and think they've done a lot.
Well...
We can't be sitting on what we do, the resources we do, human, mineral, oil. Now we're increasing our production to 120,000 barrels in one of our fields. We can't be doing that and still be marking time. Makes no sense. Well, there's also...
just that sometimes I feel that where things are happening, we can say that, oh, this is happening, but we can do more. For example, you know this cylinder thing with Richard Grunya?
The recirculation, right.
Solid things happening there. Now, because of that documentary, they're getting new opportunities.
That's the whole point. It took us going there and making a whole lot of noise.
Well...
If we hadn't, it would have been situation normal. All messed up. Taxes on sanitary pads, wicked. You've already taken that story. The Speaker of Parliament said that, and I wholly agree with him. I agree with him. Albansuma Anna Kingsford, Bagman. Queen Mother's call on First Lady. That story also on page 7. But let me get into this other story. So, an Accra High Court has issued witness summons against former Minister of Health, Alex Segbefia, and 2 others at the request of former Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. Kasila, to force him to testify for him in his ongoing trial before the court. The other 2 are Seydou Kotoma, former Controller and Accountant General, and Patrick Nimo, the current Chief Director at the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. So that's how the case is panning out. Both Mr. Segbefia and Mr. Nimo are to appear before the court on June the 29th, 2023, while Mr. Kotoma is scheduled to appear on July the 6th. I'll wrap with that story, sad story, about the cop. So this country, lip service, mouth, will do. Armed robbers yesterday attacked a bullion van at the Star Oil fuel station near the ECG office at Ablekuma Fan Milk in Accra, leaving 1 police officer dead. May his soul rest in peace. We commiserate with the family. Now, the robbers, numbering 4 and riding on motorbikes, targeted the police escorts in the vehicle and shot at them in the shoulder and abdomen shortly after the vehicle parked at the filling station. The 2 police escorts reportedly engaged their attackers in a firefight with 15 shots fired in the encounter. CCTV footage of the incident showed 2 of the robbers on a motorbike following the van to the station, while the other 2, also on a motorbike, emerged in front of the van and opened fire. How many times have we not spoken about this situation? And we had all the stuff about within a certain period, the Bank of Ghana, we're going to ensure that they meet these requirements, armored vehicles and all of that. We don't get tired of sorrow, distraction, sadness, poverty in this country. If we did, we would hold our leaders to much stiffer, sterner responsibility, like other jurisdictions do. Over to you.
The Ghanaian publisher, STEM education is a game changer, says Education Minister Dr. Nick Dansweje urges calm as the OSP requests access to ICAMs. NDC is afraid of Baumia, that's according to Nana Komia, and Speaker condemns imposition of taxes on sanitary parts. But I'm interested in this story. It says Teacher Association blames long homestay for mass licensure exam failure. Now, Mr. Francis Yeboah, Public Relations Officer, Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, has blamed the high rate of failure of teachers in the licensure examination to their long stay in the house after completion of school. He said some teachers did not prepare for the examination because they were engaged in their mandatory national service, whilst others were occupied with other things at home. Mr. Yeboah, who was speaking in an interview with the Ghana News Agency in reaction to the high rate of prospective teachers failing their teacher licensure examinations, called on the National Teaching Council, the NTC, to add the examinations to their curriculum in school. So we stayed home for that long. That's why we didn't perform well. The NTC says they are rolling out a new policy, a new way of doing the exams next year, such that, for example, you who did linguistics, the teacher would then take the exams.
I read languages, not linguistics.
Okay, languages. So the teacher would take the examination in languages and add the 3 that they are doing now. It will be combined into 1. So you still do it. That's competency and what have you. So maybe when that comes, teachers can then have a leeway. But no matter what it is, I think some of the questions that I saw and some of the responses really, we expect our teachers to do better. I mean, they still have another opportunity in November. I pray that they prepare well so they can pass and become professional teachers. Let's see how we can all help in modernizing the teacher profession in this country. Now, Nana Komia says the opposition NDC is already frightened ahead of the 2024 general elections. Nana Komia said a desperate attempt by the members of the NDC to tarnish the image of the vice president is a sign the party is scared of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Interesting days ahead, Ben.
Well, I saw this message. Kwekwaza is watching. Glad to know you're watching, Prof, among others. Azuma Amali says, if it is not broken, you don't fix it. Tradition goes on. But this one says, Kwejotufor, you know me, whether positive or negative, I'll read it. He says, boring morning show. Oh, we take that comment. You're still watching, aren't you?
Well, Kwejotufor says that.
He says boring morning show.
Why is it?
Of course, you know, some people express disdain when you bring up matters that they don't like, or maybe matters that affect where they lie on the political spectrum. The other day we had Kofi Juma, sending a message, and I sent him a little response, not here, but live on air. He said we had to be a bit more positive. And right down his post, somewhere he had, don't sugarcoat it. We don't sugarcoat it here. We say it as it is. Independent, fearless, credible. Like it, hate it, whichever side, it's always going to be the same.
If it doesn't favor you, it's not good. When
I
also a dead goat.
Oh, no. I wouldn't categorize myself as such. Dead goat today.
Maybe you can take the syndrome a little.
The syndrome, no. We flee any comfort body.
Okay.
But the find that Dr. Akoto defies torrential rains to campaign for Charles Opoku at Asin North. Armed robbers kill cop, escorting bullion van, loot cash. Parliament pays tribute to football legend Asamoah Jan. 37 years, and he's now hung his boots. 165 SHS equipped with state-of-the-art labs to revolutionize physics, chemistry, biology, and STEM studies. We've told you about all of those, and those are the stories there in the Finder newspaper. Okay. Maybe right before we go,
I sent you something yesterday, Ben.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah. Let me now look for it. You could have sent it again, my brother. Now I see it. Now I see it. But before we even get into those, there are some matters I would have wanted us to look at, but it appears we've run out of time.
Okay.
Would you like to do it yourself?
Okay, so
go ahead.
A blessed birthday to our son, Thalis Intiful Esel Bafoewa of the Nagas Angel Educational Center, Santasi KG 2A, son of Oshiaura Bianyua Payne the Fourth, Chief of Dompem Pepesa in Wasafiase. Now, this boy is a fantastic child, created for greatness, I know. On this special day of yours, know that you are loved by all of us, your family. Age in grace, Thalis. Be great. Happy birthday from your parents, Oshiara and Lady Oheneyere, and uncle, myself, Kojo Braze, and my family. Thalis says he's going to marry my second daughter. I said, okay, let's see how it goes.
Oh, he started his booking early.
Yeah.
He's made his booking already?
Oh, yeah.
Hey!
And the two of them,
they
used to be in the same school. So even my daughter would say, I want to go to Thales' house. I'm like, oh, yeah, you go to uncle. Uncle is an interesting date, you know. So
check like the thing is that early.
Oh, so maybe they would want to cement the relationship between myself and my friend Oshiara. So yeah, let's see. I mean, but these are early days. They will grow up and they will have different feelings. So yeah, he does have.
Anyway, right.
Alice should have a blessed day. I love that boy. Yeah.
We wish you the very best.
Yeah.
You know, I would have said Thales. So Thalis. Good. Blunt thoughts for today. I'll be sharing my thoughts on Ghana, a giant on its knees. With misleaders without keys. Ghana, a giant on its knees with misleaders without keys.
Oh.
They don't open the door for the rest of us to get in there. We'll be bringing you Prime Take shortly, but this segment has been brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They are offering you free prostate screening, free female fertility screening as well. Locate them here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, in Kumasi, Kronomabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There is also Takrady, Anaje Estates. There is Tema Community 22. There's Techiman Hanswa and Esiama and Zema. If you'd like to call them, which I suggest you do, reach out to them on 0244 867-068 or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Well, today on Prime Take, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi engages J.E. Sapon. Let's find out what they have to share. That up next.